Not gonna lie, I'm feeling pretty heated after recording the Xbox video, which I'm pretty sure is gonna come out before this one. So let's talk about and cool down with the seasonal anime that I'm gonna be watching this season. So this is gonna be my summer 2025 seasonal roundup for what anime I'm gonna be watching this upcoming anime season. So let's actually jump right on into it, because if last season was a season of a decent amount of original anime, well, maybe it was earlier this year actually, this is going to be the sequel season, because I feel like everything I'm watching is basically a sequel season, except for maybe one show, if anything, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So first and foremost, let's talk about stuff that is starting this season that I am going to be watching. First and foremost, Dandadan Season 2. There was no way I was not going to miss the second season of Dandadan. Dandadan Season 1 was really good, really well done, and it adapted the source material incredibly well. I actually have the manga upstairs. Granted, I read it in Japanese, so basically the character said exactly what was being read, so I don't have to worry too much about the subtitles. But with that being said, multiple different types of art styles, interesting writing, really fun characters, and also the animation just looks absolutely incredible a lot of the time. They really have brought things together, and it's good to see that Science Saru is back as the animation studio for Dandadan Season 2, so very excited to see how things go. Obviously, I'm not going to be watching this on Netflix, I'm going to be doing things my own way, but hey, it is what it is, and it does start, actually it starts today as I'm recording this, so, because I'm recording this on Friday, my time, so it'll probably release tomorrow, I guess. So very excited to watch the first episode of the second season of Dandadan. Definitely looking forward to seeing how things improve. But if you just want the Cliff Notes version, basically, I don't know what to tell you. Just read the first chapter of the manga. That's going to give you everything you need. Alright, moving on from that. Kaiju Hachigo coming back by Production IG. The second season of Kaiju number 8. So Kaiju Hachigo, or Kaiju number 8, is basically main character gets stung by a bee and has some mutation that causes him to be able to turn into a kaiju. But the problem is that he's so damn strong that he manages to escape the strongest force to fight against kaiju. And kaijus like that generally tend to get a number. He is the 8th one to be able to escape, and so that's why he's given the nickname that Kaiju number 8, or rather Kaiju Hachigo. So this is basically continuing on from the stuff that happened in season 1, where people were able to find out, oh, this guy that's in our ranks, he's able to transform into a kaiju. Can we trust him? Should we try? Should he be tried? Should he be executed? What should we do? All that other stuff. So there's a decent amount of drama going on from the perspective of the characters within the defense force against kaijus, but in addition to that, there's also a decent amount of, I guess, funny writing and comedy with the main character, who is the guy who can transform into the kaiju, as well as his interaction and relationships with other characters. And I think similar to like Dandadan, I really do like the interactions between characters. Is it the greatest thing in the world? Absolutely not, but it's good enough for me to keep my attention, so very much looking forward to a second season of this. Moving on from that, the Seishun Buta Yaro wa Santa Claus no Yume o Minai, or Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus, which is kind of following on from Seishun Buta Yaro. Damn. I think it was like Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. So basically, we had that. Then we had the movie Rascal Does Not Dream of Randoseru Girl. So basically a girl that kind of has like this, basically like almost like an elementary school girl, I guess. That was a movie, and now we're getting this one, which involves Santa Claus, I guess. So I'm sure we're going to be getting some level of explanation that involves physics and some other junk going on. Basically, I'm looking forward to this series because I really liked both the movie and the anime adaptation that we got previously, and this very much feels like a sequel to a sequel, basically. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but if you recognize Mai, I feel like that's kind of enough for you to get an idea. And of course, the name Seishun Buta Yaro kind of gives off like it has a very specific titling. I don't know what to say about this, if I'm being completely honest, because I don't know what to expect from it. I haven't actually read the original light novel. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening at this point after the movie. So, definitely, if you're going to be going into this, probably best to watch the original 12 or 13 episode season, and then the movie, and then this, if you want to jump into it. This one's not going to be all that popular, if I'm being completely honest, but excited nonetheless, because it is a sequel season to a show that I already started watching years ago. That being said, Sakamoto Days Part 2. So this is Part 2 of Season 1, or I don't know if there's going to be more seasons, but this is the second part of Sakamoto Days. It was already announced that Sakamoto Days was going to kind of get like 2 half seasons, basically. So like Sakamoto Days originally only had 11 episodes. This time around, we don't know how many episodes are coming, but it is going to be starting on the 15th of July. I think similar to Dandadan in terms of action scenes, Sakamoto Days just nails it. It has incredibly good action scenes, character relationships, just like with Kaiju Hachigo and Dandadan. The character interactions are actually really cool. The dynamics are quite nice. Sakamoto doesn't speak a lot, but then we've got Shin, who is an Esper, so he can read his mind and understand how he's thinking. And then you've got I forgot the girl's name that makes pork buns at the shop, and then you've got the other assassins that are then coming after Sakamoto in order to basically collect the bounty on his head, because he has a large amount of money on there. It's just a very, very good time, if I'm being completely honest, and again, accurate to the manga adaptation, because similar to Dandadan, I have the manga for Sakamoto Days, and I've read it in Japanese, so without a shadow of a doubt, it is a good time nonetheless. I'm very high on a lot of the shows that are airing this season, because they're actually sequel seasons to shows I really, really like. So, hey, picture that. But, of all things, there was actually... So, basically, with Grand Blue Season 2, I actually never watched Grand Blue Season 1. I did, however, read the first 3 volumes of the manga. So, I am actually currently watching Grand Blue Season 1 to catch up and be able to watch Grand Blue Season 2. And for those of you guys that don't know Grand Blue, I would say that the anime adaptation does a fine job of adapting the manga, but if I'm being completely honest with you, reading the manga is completely next level. The comedy hits so much harder. The art looks so much better. Granted, the anime adaptation does a good job, but I feel like the manga just does a beyond excellent job in showing off some of the very comedic elements. But basically, it's a comedic slice of life that follows our main character, who always ends up naked, drunk somewhere, dangerously drunk somewhere, and basically university/college influences happen. Whatever happens, basically. If you've ever been to college, if you've ever been to university, and you see like some drunk guy passed out across the street, and you realize, oh, he's another student from the same class as you, basically this is exactly what you should probably expect. It is University, the show, with some diving in there at some point. So it's a bloody good time. It is an excellent manga. It's one of the best manga I've ever read. Genuinely one of the most funniest manga that I've ever read. And I cannot recommend it enough. The anime adaptation does a good job, but I realize that the manga is just head and shoulders higher and better. So I am watching season 1, trying to catch up in order to watch season 2. I've only watched episode 1, so hopefully I'll finish the rest before season 2 starts airing next week. That being said, however, Dr. Stone Science Future Part 2, which is Part 2 of Season 4 of Dr. Stone. So basically, we kind of found ourselves in a very sort of equal position between Senku and Dr. Zenos, I think his name is, the dude on the right. So we've got an interesting sort of rivalry going on between these two, given the events of the previous season, without going into too much detail. Is this a season to look forward to compared to the other seasons of Dr. Stone? I would say yes. I think this is actually improving upon how much I didn't like season 2 and season 3 as much. Season 4 has certainly stepped things up in a good direction, but of course I'm yet to wait and see whether or not that's actually going to come to fruition, and if season 4 part 2 delivers on more of the science and some genuinely good rivalry between the two, some genuinely good like outsmarting of each other and just trying to get to whatever the goal is that either party is trying to achieve, trying to unite the world as well to some extent. There's a lot that could go on here, and there's a lot that I could potentially talk about, but I'm not going to talk into too much detail because of course there are other shows that I do want to talk about, so I'll just leave it at that. This is one to be excited about and look forward to, but whether or not it comes to fruition, that's an entirely different thing altogether. That being said though, another show that I haven't watched the first season of, but I really need to catch up in order to watch it this season, is new Panty Stocking with Garderbelt, which is basically the sequel season to Panty Stocking, because of course. So Panty Stocking, I've heard good things about. I've never actually seen it, so I do actually want to watch it before the second season comes up. So I honestly don't know much of what to expect, if I'm being completely honest. And the art style very much is reminiscent of Cartoon Network in a lot of different ways. So that is Trigger that is making this, and of course Trigger is known for not necessarily this particular type of art style, but very similar to it when I look at something like Gurren Lagann, or I forgot what that movie is called that's very similar to Gurren Lagann that Trigger did a few years ago. Anyway, poor fella's been overworked, alright? They've been making a lot, so I'm looking forward to this, but like I said, I don't know what to expect, so I can't really speak too much about it in this video. That being said, so I never drop a series that I start watching. I did not like the Vending Machine Isekai. I thought it was completely bland and kind of boring, and it's getting a second season. So I'm basically hate watching it at this point, I think. Who knows? What the hell? Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch this show. It is what it is. It's a sequel season. This one I'm not This is the one show I am actually not looking forward to. Every other show to some extent I am looking forward to. This one is the only one where I'm not. So I'll leave that to your guys' imagination. The final show that's going to be starting to air this season is Osomatsu-san Season 4. We're getting a 4th season of Osomatsu-san. I never thought that we would ever get another season of this show after the 3rd season. But sure enough, after the wait, everyone's been looking forward. When was season 3 actually? That's a good question. It was 2020 to 2021. Oh boy, it's been holy crap, it's been 4 years since season 3, and now we're getting season 4. Honestly, like I said, I'm very excited for the show. I'm looking forward to the show. The madness of seeing the sextuplets. Seeing the sextuplets together, getting into some absolute madness, everyone having their own identity, being the sort of slice of life comedy is just a damn good time, and it just leans into its fourth wall breaking nature, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't work. But I mean, that's just the nature of comedy. Sometimes not all jokes are not going to land, so you kind of need to make do with whatever you can in those sorts of situations. But it is what it is for the most part. That being said, look forward to Osomatsu-san. Of course, I do highly recommend that you watch the Osomatsu-san reboot, as well as season 2 and season 3 of the reboot, which was more recent. And this is of course season 4 of the Osomatsu-san reboot. So because I think they had an original anime adaptation, and then this sort of newer wave of Osomatsu-san, which I think is a reboot that started in when did it start? That's a good question. The reboot started in 2015, so Osomatsu-san 2015, rather than the 1988 version. That's the one I probably recommend you watch through, and if you really want to go back and watch the original, that is also available as well. That being said, let's talk about the shows that are carrying over from the previous season. More specifically, Summer Pockets. I'm not going to be reviewing this anime because, of course, it's continuing, so it's not going to be part of my anime reviews that are going to be coming up in the next week or so. But I do want to talk about the fact that I really like the show. I love the show. It's so good. It's so good. So look forward to that. And of course, there is going to be a Summer Pockets movie that's going to basically summarize the whole thing into probably the core aspects of the show in question if you don't want to watch the entire series. But I'm committed. I'm going to watch all 26 episodes and I'm going to have a damn good time doing it. That being said, we also have One Piece. One Piece is continuing on as it ordinarily would. Not a fan of some of the more recent episodes leading into Kuma's backstory, and of course how Bonnie was born, her relationship to Kuma and things like that, or Bartholomew Kuma I should say, but it is what it is. So with all that being said, so I'm not looking forward to the vending machine isekai. One Piece I'm just kind of limping along with, and everything else I'm basically excited for. So yeah, that's basically what I'm kind of looking at in terms of anime that I'm going to be watching this coming season. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are excited for. Is there anything that I mentioned here? Am I watching too much anime all at once at some point in time? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. And with all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.